When a woman climbs onto a motorcycle, something shifts. Not just the gears, but her sense of freedom, her strength, and her voice. For many of us, the open road isn't just a place we ride, it's where we heal, connect, and come alive. Today I'm sitting down with a few incredible women who ride, not just for the thrill, but for the journey, the stories, and the sisterhood. We don't ride to escape life. We ride so life doesn't escape us. Every mile, every road, every sister by our side makes the ride that much richer. So sit back and listen to some stories of some fabulous women who've learned to ride and enjoy the open road as much as all of us do.
Cheers to you. Cheers to riding safe and free. Yes.
Hi y'all, my name is Melissa. I go by Missys Moto on Instagram, and I was asked by Harley Girl to answer a few questions about being a woman rider. And I'd like to start by saying thank you to Harley Girl. I feel very honored that I was asked to participate in this, and simply thank you for what you're doing. I think it's great anytime we can shed light on women riders in this industry. We're a growing group for sure. And when we do things like this, we get to know each other and lift each other up and support each other. And that's a beautiful thing. There should be no room for hatred or jealousy in this industry. So thank you for doing this. This just warms my heart. So without further ado, let's answer some questions. The first question is, how long have I been riding and what inspired me to ride? I have not been riding that long. I think I'm on 5, going on 6 years riding. I started riding later in life. And what inspired me to start riding? I really don't have a great inspiring story. The truth is that I was a passenger princess for a few years. I was dating a guy that had a bike, and there's nothing wrong with that. Being a passenger is absolutely wonderful experience as well. But when that relationship fizzled out, as it needed to, I really missed the bike. I really missed being part of the motorcycle community and on the back with that wind in my face. So a couple of years after, a light bulb just went off in my head, and I decided, hey, why not take the course and see if you like being a rider? Being a rider is very different from being a passenger. But I went and I took the course. I took the MSF course at our local Harley, and I passed. I barely passed, but I passed, and I haven't looked back since. It's quickly become a very huge part of who I am, and it brings me so much joy. Okay, the second question is, what advice would you give to women that want to ride but are afraid to start? Gosh, I'm sure everybody has so many wonderful things to say. Mine is more of an encouragement as opposed to specific advice, and that would be, it's okay to be afraid. It's a scary thing. Being brave to me doesn't mean going into something without fear. Being brave is being scared shitless and doing it anyway. Give it a try. Set yourself up for the course and see if you like it. See if you can pass. And if it doesn't work out for you, that's okay too. Maybe you could start by watching some videos online too about how to ride a motorcycle, things like that. But how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So just take it step by step. Sign yourself up for the course. Give it a try. Those bikes are very safe. They have a lot of protection on them, so you won't hurt the bike. It's very unlikely that you would hurt yourself in a course. It could happen, but it's very unlikely. So be brave. Give it a try. Okay, so the third question is, have I ever faced judgment or doubt because I'm a woman, and how do I deal with it? Absolutely, of course, all the time. A lot of them are from men making comments on how I ride, what gear I'm wearing. That bike is too big for you. That bike is too fast for you. This is my 2020 Softail. She's got a 131 in it. She's fast. I handle her just fine. This is my 22 Street Glide ST. She's a big bike. She's like 850 pounds. I handle her just fine. How do I deal with it? It really depends on my mood. Sometimes I will come back with some sort of real smart aleck response, and other times I just kind of smile and brush it off. And the best way to shut a hater up is to just go ahead and do it anyway. Makes them mad. That's all I have for you guys today. Feel free to answer or reach out to me and ask me any questions that you might have on my Instagram. Again, it's missys.moto. And thank you, Harley Girl, for doing this. You rock. Stay safe, my friends.
My name is Bonnie Curry. I'm from Waterloo. When I was growing up as a teenager, all my guy friends, had motorcycles. So I rode on the back with them, a lot. Then I got married as a late teenager and moved out of town, and that ended that. And I went ahead and had a life. And fast forward a lot of years, I turned 50, and I woke up one morning and I thought, I want to do something I've never done before. So on a whim, I went out and bought a motorcycle. I thought, well, now I have it, I better learn how to ride it. And that's what I did, because riding on the back was nice. But I saw other women riding, and I thought, I can do that. I want to do that. And I'm a very independent woman anyway. I've been on my own for a zillion years. And so that's what I did. And I've never looked back, because it's just, there's no comparison,
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is Harry. And today, Dirty Harry. But he's my guy. I can always depend on him, and he's always hard.
I love it. Dirty Harry.
And yeah, what would he say about me? I think he'd say that he knows how much I love him and care for him, and that he thinks I'm a badass. Yeah.
That matters.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. He'd just say,
Ride me more.
"Oh, Mama, I'll love you, and you can ride me anytime."
That's awesome.
I took my first really long ride last summer. I rode to Labrador and Newfoundland.
Wow, that's a long way.
It was a long way. It was a lot further than I thought it was going to be. And I had a riding partner, a buddy of mine, and our timing, we went in August, but we hit the tail end of Ernesto, which is a big hurricane. And that was an experience. It took every ounce of everything I have in my body to keep my bike on the road. The wind was so strong, and pelting rain, and on a road with a cliff and no border at all. So you go right down. It was pretty scary, and it was harrowing, and we'd have rain day in and day out for days on end, And my riding partner's been riding all his life, and he's taken 100 long trips. He said this was the hardest trip he's ever had. So, and he kept saying, I can't believe you're hanging in here, you're not complaining or anything. What good's that going to do anyway, right? And it's all part of the experience. So I can say I did it. Well, it's just, you're in a situation where you don't have a choice. You got to keep going. And we had rooms booked each day. I booked everything ahead. So you couldn't say, well, this is a crummy day, let's just, hang out for the day. But in this case, it worked for us. And some of the places, we found was really great. But it makes you overcome things or battle through it. I don't want to do this, but I have to do it. Let's see how well I can get it done.
Nice.
July 25th.
And how old are you going to be?
74.
And you're still rocking it on a Harley.
Yeah.
Go, girl.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Candy, and I ride a 09 Nightster and a CB500X Honda adventure bike. Over the years, the women that I've met motorcycling have brought so much to my life. The experiences that they have, whether it's biking or just through life. When I first started riding, I guess it might have been 4 years in, I wanted to meet more like-minded women. I joined a Facebook page that was just for women, and people would post events. You know, Saturday we're going for a ride, let's go. Well, one event somebody posted was to go to this cabin in the woods. Well, I didn't know anybody, and I took a chance and I went. Like, really, what could possibly go wrong, right? Like, you're in a cabin in the woods with women on motorcycles. You don't know anybody. But when I went there, it was the most amazing experience that I had. Motorcycling is about freedom. It challenges me. Seriously, who goes from a 90 to a 20 in the little corner? Like, I don't know. I still struggle with that. After all these years, I suck, and it's okay to admit that. It can be hard. Something that I would share with women that are nervous about getting their license is just do it. You are capable of it. It's hard, but you can do hard things. It gets easier the more saddle time that you have. And don't wait for perfect. Don't wait for the weather app to be perfect. Don't wait for your husband or partner to pull their bike out. If you're getting it and you don't have someone that you live with that rides, you can meet so many people. And I often get asked, where do you go? Most of my riding I do solo, and where don't you go? Find somewhere, find something you like, go to your nearest coffee shop. Then next time, hit the town miles away, and then keep going. My favorite French fry joint is over a 400-kilometer round trip. So find somewhere, but you won't regret doing it. I'm moto camping right now. This right here is where I love to be all summer long. This is what I want to do. I don't think about anything else. I want to moto camp. I love being outside. I love being in nature, the smells, the sounds. So being on a bike does that for me. I'm definitely more of an introvert, but my bike has definitely helped me with that. I always say I love her, and I do. Even when she's really, really dirty. She definitely brings me joy. She does. I don't know how to explain it. I could talk about her for hours. People ask me all the time, right? You gonna get a new bike? Get rid of her? No. Why would I? I love her.
Just make sure we're. You should see that one of you. I love it. All right.
My name is Marilyn Crawford, and I am 66 years old. I've been around bikes my whole life. My brother had mini bikes. He had an old 68 BSA. All my friends, boyfriends, they all seem to have motorcycles. I've been drawn to just the two wheels. That whole bike scenario was just always a part of my life. I was always like 30, 35 years a passenger, and then when my daughter went off to university, I just decided I'm going to do something for myself. I took the motorcycle course, bought myself a bike. I had a 650 V-Star Yamaha, my first bike. It just opened up a whole new world to me. So I've been now riding on my own for 20 plus years. And my current bike here it's a 09 Deluxe that I've had since new, and I've never looked back. Motorcycling has just become such an integral part of my life. I love it. I have formed lasting friendships. Actually, the editor of this piece, Gloria, we met very early in my riding career, And it was almost instant that we became friends, and we've ridden together over the years many times, been on many trips. We actually in 2022 did a solo girls trip and rode down through upstate New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Virginia, just the two of us. And it was a very empowering trip for us. I love riding with other women. We tend to you know, obviously there's the shopping component. We love to stop and shop, and you know, but it's the camaraderie of a sisterhood that really draws us together, and there's something very special about that. Yeah, for women that are learning to ride, I mean, it's just something. You know, I've talked to some women that go, I could never do that. I'm too afraid. You know, you have to have that desire. Because learning to ride, I mean, it isn't easy. You know, there's skill involved, and you do have to, you know, hold up a bike that's, you know, several hundred pounds, if not close to, you know, 1,000 pounds. But you can't fear that. I think that you have to, you know, have a sense of adventure. And you know, my advice to anybody considering riding is it'll change your life. There's such a sense of freedom and just being in the moment that riding can give you that I don't think you can get any other way. You know, I think the only maybe judgments, you know, when I ride into work, I work in an office environment, so I work in human resources. So when I ride in on my bike, there's definitely, you know, this is my alter ego. It's not Marilyn showing up in, you know, neatly dressed, and, you know, I have this alter ego that's my rebel, so to speak. But I don't know if it's judgment, but, you know, it's definitely, they look at you differently, for sure. Yeah, I'm the quick change artist. You learn to, you know, carry your, you know, you have to plan for how you're going to dress that day, okay? You know, I can put my sandals in my saddlebag, and yeah, okay, these pants are, they're not going to get wrinkled if I ride, and you know, okay, hair's going to be in a ponytail today because, you know, putting the helmet on. So, you know, there's some planning that has to go into it, but yeah, it's great. It would be calling me and saying, Marilyn, it's time for some wind therapy. You've had a stressful week. Come and de-stress with me. I know the road to happiness. Hop on, get on board, let's go. One of the biggest challenges, I think, was just, you know, having the confidence that I could handle a big, heavy bike. You know, it was definitely intimidating at first, but you know, practice, you get that sense of, you know, comfort that comes with your bike. And I think one of the biggest challenges was, you know, having to ride through a torrential rainstorm. And, you know, we were on like a major, the 400 highway, and, you know, traffic and torrential rain and not being visible, and yet remaining calm and knowing what to do. And that's where all of your skill that you've learned, you know, comes into play, and you are a defensive driver and or rider, and you know, we knew what we needed to do, and you know, I think that was probably the biggest learning experience I had.